Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Kayla and I make videos about all things BPD. And although I've already made a video about the 4 subtypes of BPD, today I wanted to talk more specifically about the impulsive borderline subtype. Although these subtypes may share many of the characteristics that are common to BPD, a lot of these have their own manifestations of the disorder, and this is why it's important to talk about them separately. As I had mentioned, impulsive borderline personality disorder is amongst the 4 subtypes common to BPD, and this is the one that is the most charismatic out of the 4. According to psychologist Theodore Millon, the impulsive subtype is said to have a lot in common with histrionic personality disorder. Just a quick side note on that, histrionic personality disorder, for those of you who don't know what that is a personality disorder that's characterized by excessive attention seeking, by an overwhelming desire to be noticed. Usually their self-esteem is very dependent on others, and they will shift their self-image to be the most valued person in the room. When it comes time to talk about the impulsive borderline subtype, there's a few main characteristics that can help us identify whether or not we have this subtype or if we notice these types of behaviors in other people. And the first one, as the name implies it, is this whole aspect of having really impulsive and risky behaviors. What this whole characteristic really boils down to is doing things without thinking of the consequences, whether that's for themselves or others. We also have an intense urge for instant gratification, so it's more short-term thinking rather than long-term thinking. And there's also a lot of thrill-seeking and risky behaviors that come into play with this. So we could have things such as excessive drinking, spending money recklessly, driving recklessly, even things like in conversations, they will respond instantly without thinking of the consequences or repercussions of what they're saying. And this, in the impulsive subtype, is very evident. The second characteristic, and this is where this whole idea of the histrionic personality comes into play, is the attention seeking and dramatic display of behaviors. So whether that's telling funny stories and being loud so that they could be the center of attention, showing off, telling heartbreaking stories, discrediting other people's stories to say something that's even more impressive. And this doesn't mean that you have impulsive BPD, by the way, if you do this, because we all know this one person that you're talking about this trip that you went on, and then this person just needs to jump in and say, oh yeah, well, I did that. And then on top of that, I also went here, blah, 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 all these places backpacking by myself. And you're like, hey, buddy, didn't ask for your input. Tied to this whole idea of showing off, we have the third characteristic, which is this high energy that the impulsive borderline sometimes has. So these people, they're very enthusiastic. They're the people that you are drawn to when you walk into the room. And at the same time, these people, they're very magnetic, but they also get bored very easily. So they could have really big ideas, big dreams, but commitment is not really a priority for them or something that comes naturally. It's more dream big, don't really do anything about it. Now I'm bored, and on to the next thing. So it's very quick and intense emotions regarding things. Then the drop is very intense as well, boredom, and then they move on to something else. Another thing is that people with impulsive borderline can also be very charismatic and charming. And so they could be flirtatious without noticing it. They're super fun, because when you think about it, impulsivity, the other side of the same coin, is someone called spontaneous. I have a hard time pronouncing this word, but you know what I'm saying. So if someone sweeps you off your feet and does these big grand gestures, if you're dating someone, for example, and says, okay, I'm taking you here, and they pick you up at 5 a.m. to take you to watch the sunrise somewhere, and they're always going with these big ideas, it sucks you in. It's fun. But then when they get bored, because they have a tendency to do so, then you're left kind of, okay, well, where do I fit in now? Which leads me to my next characteristic, is that they often avoid deep and meaningful relationships, they will stick to more superficial relationships. And this is kind of where this pattern of the unstable relationship, so quick and intense and short-lived, comes into play, because they have the tendency to get bored, and also it's hard to dig down. And if you put up a front of, I'm this very fun person who does all these things, but then deep down inside you don't really know who you are, it's hard to get to a deeper level with someone else as well. The last thing that we'll sometimes see in the impulsive BPD subtype is complaints of chronic or reoccurring illnesses. And we all do this when we have something wrong. We go on WebMD because we have a headache, and next thing you know, we have cancer and we're dying. That's fine, it's okay. But those with impulsive borderline will sometimes be classified as being hypochondriacs. And to be completely fair, I 100% used to be one. I used to go down these crazy rabbit holes and find all these things that were wrong with me. I would go to the hospital all the time. And one day I realized that a big part of why I was doing that is not because I was scared, is because I wanted attention from other people. And it's really when I had that realization that I calmed down a lot with that. I still have the tendency, because I do have anxiety, to worry when there's something not right with me. But I tried to wait at least 2 or 3 days before checking the internet, because usually by that time, whatever I was experiencing passes. But yeah, my name is Kayla, and I used to be a full-blown hypochondriac. Overall, these different subtypes are various shades of gray, meaning that you can have some characteristics from one subtype and others from another. You don't need to put yourself in these specific boxes, because realistically, this is the best compilation, is that even a word? Not sure, of all the different things that we know about BPD to this day. And so don't limit yourself to say, oh, because I have 3 out of 5 of these or whatever, that I have impulsive borderline. No, fundamentally, you have BPD. These subtypes are just a better way of helping you to understand yourself and for others to get a better sense of how you truly feel inside. On that note, if you found this video useful, be sure to give it a like. And if you're not already, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button down below, as well as the bell notification up top, to get notified when I do post more videos every Monday about all things BPD. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you back here next time for another episode of On the Line.